So you are crucifying him morning, noon, and night by your misuse of this power. These are the blows that you give to Christ. Every time that you exercise your imagination unlovingly on behalf of anyone in this world, you are abusing Christ. Or you're abusing the creative power of God. And you're free to do it. Well, I'm telling you, try it. You just take the most glorious concepts of yourself in this world. And having assumed that's what I want to be as a man, don't ask anyone for permission. You assume that you are it. Sleep in it just as though it were true. Wake in it just as though it is true. And then go to work just as though it's true. And you will find the whole vast world remolding itself in harmony with your assumption. When you reflect upon it, you are amazed at the bridge of incident that came into being across which you moved to fulfill that state. You have no idea how this whole thing came into being, but that wonderful unfolding picture as you reflect upon it seems so natural. It seems so natural, you will say to yourself, well, it would have happened anyway. That's how natural it happened. But it would not have happened in eternity had you not assumed the end and lived in the end just as though it were true. So the secret of imagining is to conjure in your wonderful mind's eye a scene which would imply that you are the one that you want to be. Enact it in your imagination just as though it's true. Give it all the tones of reality. Give it sensory vividness, as taught us in the Scriptures. Come near, my son, that I may feed you. Your voice sounds like Jacob, but come close. And Jacob comes close, and he felt the hair which belonged to Esau, Esau being the external world. You sung like Jacob, but you feel, and you have the odor of my son Esau. Then he pronounced a blessing upon him. And just as he gave him the blessing to be real in this world, then comes Esau and discovers the deception that his subjective state had taken the place of the objective state. And the father said, I bless him, and I cannot retake my blessing. Even though he came through deception and deceived you, I can't take it. Can't take it back. So here is my Esau. My outer world is Esau. But I don't like what I'm experiencing in the outer world. But I would like to continue in the outer world with a different experience. So I close my eyes to the obvious. I construct a scene which would imply that it's taking this position. It has supplanted this world. I'm no longer the man that I was. I am now the man that I always wanted to be. So I bring that into my mind's eye, and I reenact it in my mind's eye, and give it the tones of reality, and give it sensory vividness, like putting my hand upon it and touching it. And then when I'm thinking from this state now, having given it all that I can of reality, I open my eyes, it vanishes, and this returns. But I say to myself, I gave it the right of birth. I am apologizing to you, but you must vanish now. My present state that I dislike must now vanish from my world, and the state that seemingly at the moment is unseen will come into being and take the place of the present outward world. So this is the story of Esau and Jacob. Jacob is the supplanter, the subjective inner state, and this is the outer state of Esau. Now here I am thinking from this room. Here is an important point in the secret of imagining. I'm always thinking from a state. If I don't like the state that I'm seeing and that I'm experiencing, well then, what state would I like to be in? Assume it. Conceive it in your mind's eye and assume it. Now view the world from that state. It's all the difference in the world between thinking from a state and thinking of a state. I'm always thinking from, and most of the time we're thinking of. Of is at the moment subjective. From is objective. I take the state I'm thinking of and bring it into my consciousness now and think from it. As I think from it, I am clothing it in reality. I'm giving it the tones of reality. And when I open my eyes, it vanishes, just as you're told in Genesis that he vanished the minute the other one returned. And so the Father says, he deceived me, but I gave him the right of birth, and I cannot take it back. So I give that state from which I view the world the right of birth, and it has to come to pass.